Now we're starting chapter 21. It's called The Rent Collector. So you'll remember that in the last chapter we heard about Peggy, who decided to go off to the western frontier to find new land in America and to marry Sarah's brother James before going, and then they could go together. So chapter 21 is The Rent Collector, and I think we could predict here that there's going to be a problem back in Ireland with Eileen's family, because the rent has been doubled and they were hoping to earn extra money to pay it. But we don't know yet if they had enough. So let's read it. The ginger-haired man with the bristly bit of a moustache came back, just as he had promised. Every night for the last week, Eileen and John had emptied out the small earthenware jar they kept hidden under the bed and counted out their money. They had got a fine price for Muck, that was their pig, and the hen money added some more. Then there was all they'd made on 2 visits to the market. Still, no matter how they added it up, they were short the amount due. Mary Bridget wished for a miracle that would change the copper coins into silver or gold. "Come inside, Mr. Brennan," said John. "We have the money for you." They all watched anxiously as the man counted out the money into the palm of his hand. "Mr. Powers, there seems to be some sort of misunderstanding. This amount falls short of the terms agreed." Falls short means it's not enough. John's white hands gripped the table. "There's no mistake, Mr. Brennan. That's all there is. I've nothing left to sell. My rent is double what it was this time last year. It's all I'm able to pay. You'll have to tell that to Mr. Ormond." Mr. Ormond is the landlord. Mr. Brennan seemed embarrassed. He looked around the cottage, taking in the young husband and wife with their 2 small children, and the old lady in the corner who glared fiercely at him. He hated this job of rent collecting for Hussey. So we've got Mr. Ormond as the landlord, Mr. Hussey is the agent, and then Mr. Brennan goes out to do the difficult work of actually collecting the rent. "I'll talk to them, Mr. Powers. Are you sure you've nothing else to give me?" he prodded. "No," said John firmly. "There's only the food on the children's plates and the clothes on their backs. Tell Dennis Ormond that I've worked as hard as any man can work, and that's all I have." Mary Bridget watched as Mr. Brennan scooped their money into a leather bag. "I'll talk to Mr. Hussey on your behalf," promised the man, now anxious to leave. They all watched as he hoisted himself, that means pulled himself, onto the saddle of a sturdy grey mare and rode away. "Now we wait," said John seriously. And just imagine to yourself, what might they be waiting for? What is the agent or the landlord, what are they going to say? That's the end of that chapter. Thanks for listening.